Welcome back, Gameaholics, to another episode of the Gameaholic Podcast. We are in for, if you're watching live on Twitch right now, we're in for a twofer tonight. So we're going to be doing our recording podcast on Man of Medan, which is the first official Dark Pictures Anthology game. And then we are moving to Little Hope, which is the second one. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music, you're not going to get these for a couple weeks. And they're going to be spaced out. We're not doing a back-to-back release. So if you're on our Twitch and you're listening to this, welcome. If you're not on our Twitch and you're listening to this, why aren't you on our Twitch? We're at Gameaholic Podcast. Definitely give us a quick follow on there to make sure that you can get notified when we are going live.
That was a good plug right there. Really solid plug.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, yeah.
That was smooth. Luke, I was thinking the other day, this title of these like games, Anthology's 4, isn't it? Not 3.
No, an anthology is just an anthology isn't a set number.
Oh, I thought it was 4 for some reason. So I was sitting here, I was like, why isn't there a 4th game that they didn't release?
The 4th game's coming out.
Oh, they are making 4?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
it's called like The Devil Inside or something.
Oh.
It looks if you go to when you're in the settings of any of the games, you can press like one that says Dark Horror or Other Stories or something like that, and it makes you walk up the stairs, and it has like 4 paintings, and basically each painting is
one of the stories.
Yeah, so if you actually walk to the third one or the fourth one, it's called like The Devil Inside or The Devil something. It is coming out. There is absolutely a 4th one coming out.
This fall?
I don't know.
Or the following, probably the following year, because it just came with The Quarry.
Right, and The Quarry's sort of not in the anthology.
No,
though.
but it's in the same developers and probably same people that created these games, which they are because they all look very similar.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing about The Quarry and Until Dawn, it's a lot longer than these ones.
Well, they're standalone. Yeah, I feel like they're standalone games, and that's probably why they're only charging. Like they charge like The Quarry's $80 still. You know, don't get me wrong though. Judging by how much I've been enjoying all of these games, we're buying Quarry. It's in our list. Mm-hmm. And like, what's it called? What's the third one called again?
House of Ashes.
House of Ashes is only $40 for me standalone, so I'm just gonna buy that because I got the other 2 off the new PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's totally reasonable. I'll pay that. Like I would have paid $80 for Until Dawn.
It's probably worth it still.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I have it, and I've heard nothing but good things about The Quarry. To be honest with you, like nothing.
No, it looks really good. It has really good actors. Like that's the fun thing about it. How they always have like good voice actors in.
So we were talking about this before we came live, and one of the things that we were sort of saying is, for like these anthology games, they pretty much have like 1 semi-star in each of them. Right, whereas like in the first game we have Conrad, who's played by Shawn Ashmore, who's kind of just like this like, I'm not gonna say he's a big star by any means, but basically what he is he's very like into he did the X-Men, was Iceman in the X-Men, and then in the second game we have Will Poulter, who was in the Black Mirror interactive episode, and he was in
We Are the Millers.
Yeah, so again, these are kind of whatever, but like, who is in The Quarry that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh, well, I wish we were doing the House of Ashes today, because House of Ashes is Ashley Tisdale.
Is she in Quarry?
No, but The Quarry, if you ever watched Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, she was one of the main people
of course.
in it with the kids, but also...
Wait, isn't it Cole Sprouse or Dylan Sprouse?
No, it's her friend, the Asian girl.
London.
Yeah.
I don't know the actress's name. But
I don't know either.
Yeah. No, okay. Interesting. So she's in there.
But she's the main like face for that one.
Is she?
Yeah. I remember seeing the trailer for Quarry, and that was her. And I'm I know her.
But you said there's also more stars
Lives.
involved in that.
I don't know if there is or isn't. I know for Until Dawn we had Remy and we had Hayden
Panettiere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then was that it? No, and then the curator was that guy whose name, not the curator at that point, the psychologist.
Yeah, he was a big name too.
But like,
so there probably is for The Quarry.
There'll probably be. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be like 3.
But
it's like pseudo.
Londo Tidsdale, or whatever. She was the main character in The Quarry from what I saw in the.
Interesting. I thought I saw like somebody else. Like I thought it was like Jamie Lee Curtis or something. I don't think
that'd be nuts.
I don't think it is, but like I thought it was.
Can we not talk about Man of Medan yet? We're just diving into.
I just want to see who's in it. I want to
know her name now too.
Who? Like a London Tipton.
Yeah.
No. I don't... Okay, well, I lied. There's really not a lot of...
Name faces in this one?
Oh my god. No, like, nobody at all. I'm kind of actually a little...
Except for her, right?
So it looks like the key is someone named...
Oh, he's in it. Skylar, whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. And, like, someone named, like, Siobhan Williams
Don't know
seems to be the main one.
Oh, no way!
You know who that is?
Wait, never mind. That's someone I didn't think.
I don't even see... Oh, there she is.
Right there.
Brenda Song
Brenda
is in
Song,
it. But
yeah.
she's not, like... You have to scroll quite... Oh, with an Ethel Supple for My Name is Earl's in it!
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
We got some names.
That's what I'm saying. It looks... Okay, so that looks pretty sweet. So, okay, enough talking about this. We'll have a whole episode on The Quarry coming up eventually. But let's talk Man of Medan. So, if you didn't listen to our last podcast, obviously check it out. But as a bit of context going forward, this game right now, Man of Medan, free on PlayStation Plus for all users, regardless of if you're a premium or not.
That's nice.
So how PlayStation, but let me explain, and I think that this will be a really interesting one. Is PlayStation Plus does 2 free video games a month. This month, and that's for all users, no matter what level of PlayStation Plus you are. There's 2 free games, just for that month, and then they're not free anymore. So this one is Crash Bandicoot. And the other one is Man of Medan. So there's going to be a influx of people coming into this realm of supermassive games that we've been talking about, because people are going to play Man of Medan and probably get hooked on it. So this is going to be an interesting podcast. So anybody that's been on the fence, I mean, obviously it's a free game, but on the top of that, we're going to kind of go into a little bit about it. So similar to what we talked about last week with Supermassive, it is a horror survival game, but it's, more campaign story based and quick response actions on your keypads.
Which I like, because it feels like I feel like the game, for the most part, you're pretty laid back. There's not a lot of, like, challenging obstacles. The only thing that sucks is, but they changed it, at least from when we talk about Until Dawn.
Yes.
They changed it from holding it, like...
To the heartbeat.
Which is so much easier.
But you can still
You can still fuck it up.
100%. I fucked it up. Like, you can still fuck up the heartbeat, right? Like,
yeah.
You absolutely can, which I was very happy about, because it wasn't like, oh, good, it's this impossible stay still, and, like, if I die, it's over for my character.
Yeah.
So the storyline in this game, and I've noticed that they've started doing this, is at the beginning of every single game, no matter which one it's been for me so far, there is a fucked up death of some sort, right? We think about the 2 girls dying in Until Dawn. We think about, in this game now, you play as the World War II soldier on board of the boat, and they all die in like that kid crawling into the fridge and shit was nuts. And then in Little Hope, which we'll get into, there's the house fire. So every game starts off in some traumatic way, and you're just like, oh good, fire me right up.
Sets the scene really good.
It really does. So this may be weird, what I'm about to say here.
Mm-hmm.
The opening scene for me actually kind of turned me off of the game in a way. I'm just not interested in all that, like, all the World War II storylines. Like, let's go on an abandoned World War II tanker, let's do this, let's do that. Like, that for me doesn't fire me up. It's just not really my speed, I guess you can say. That actually took points away, because I was like, ugh, like, I'm not interested in all this stuff. Like there's people that are super into World War II and the World War II buffs or whatever, right? And, like, obviously, like, it was absolutely tragic, and all that terrible stuff that happened in it is awful, awful, awful. But, like, for me, just, like, following, like, oh, we're gonna go investigate World War II stuff, I'm like, ugh. I don't know.
I don't think it was that, though, right? The whole point of the game is they're, like, setting up the tour to go, like, basically, like, deep sea dive for, like, treasure.
But it was still World War II era treasure,
yeah, when they found
me.
Yeah, but they found but still, like, that was the premise. They're, like, doing the whole, like,
oh, for sure. Don't get me wrong, I get it, and, like, I just, like, I think about, I don't know, like, going through those old ships is so boring to me. Like, I really, like, I can say it right off the bat, the background's going to be low on this one for me, because it's just not stimulating for me at all.
Well, yeah, and you're on empty cargo ship in a sense. Like
I just find
nothing,
there's even the games where like if you're playing Call of Duty or you're playing Uncharted or whatever, and you're going through those like tanker ships, I'm just so bored by that. I don't know why. It's just for some reason that aesthetically for me isn't a lot.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the background was, like I said, it was pretty bleh, because it's just dark and green, kind of.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of like.
They still could have made it interesting though, but I don't know. Like
you go into like the only real thing you're doing the whole game is you're going from like different like crew like areas. Like,
so like, and I totally agree. And like, I mean, starting off, you get on the boat, and like again, keep in mind this was my first experience. I didn't play Until Dawn yet, right?
Yeah,
this was my first going into this,
yeah.
And I actually thought all characters in their own way were likable in this one. Which I really liked. Like, Fliss, the boat captain, I was like, oh, she's sassy, but she's kind of by the book, but, like, you know, really... And then, you know, you learn about her, and she's like, I saved all my own money. I took a loan out of the bank to, like, you know, get this boat. Like, I built my business from the ground up, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like super, super awesome. And then, you know, I even liked the whole Brad and Alex brothers. Like, I thought that was really cool. I wasn't, like, Julia was okay, and then Conrad was my favorite. Obviously. Like, I just loved him as, like, he was, like, trying to flirt with Fliss. He was getting hammered on the boat. He was having, like, a blast. Like,
talking shit to the
pirates. Not the pirates, they were fishermen. Yeah. And then, you know, he was great. I really liked him. And it was funny, because, like, he kept trying to, like, flirt with Fliss while I was playing as Fliss, and I kept rejecting him. Just because I don't know why. I was just like, I don't like these two together. That's not for me. I could see if Brad and Fliss got together, I could see that going on. But you know, it just wasn't really.
Wasn't Brad like the timid dude?
Yeah. I would like the two of them together. I don't know why. I shipped them.
Okay.
Get it? Because they're on a ship too.
Yeah.
Double entendre.
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is you didn't get to actually see what would happen with Conrad and.
Conrad died for me real early. You know what though? Can I say something? So I think back to playing Man of Medan and not really understanding how everything goes, and I was picking these options, and like I was picking stupid options. Now that I think about the options that I made and what I was picking,
I guess you really didn't understand the concept of the whole game because you like they die so quickly. The game is. Hey, you pick the right thing or the wrong thing, and the wrong thing equals a death.
So, and again, in this game, similar to what we saw in Until Dawn, instead of it being totems, they now have picture frames. And there's white and dark picture frames, and the dark symbolize death, and the white symbolize good hope. So you can kind of figure out, like, if it's a good option or a bad option.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so mine showed him driving away and getting shot in the boat. But still, I was like, oh, I'm going to go with the boat. He's going to get away. And I was so stupid because he was like, go to the boat or take this random dude hostage. And I was like, I'm going to take this random dude hostage. Then it was like, either grab the gun from this other guy or run and go to the boat. I was like, I'm going to run and go to the boat. And I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Like, it was just, you know what? And actually, throughout this entire game, I have these decisions that I made where the whole time I kept thinking to myself, Luke, like, that makes no fucking sense. Why would you do that? But I did that Until Dawn, too, right? This girl's, like, Jess in Until Dawn. She's barely able to run, and this frickin', Wendigo's coming after her, and it's like, hide from the Wendigo or keep trying to run. And I was like, oh, I'll keep trying to run. But in my mind, I was like, Wendigos can't see you if you're standing still.
Yeah.
What am I thinking here? So, like, it's those... I've learned from playing these 3 games, I would not do well in a horror situation. I can't think on my feet. I'd be fucking dead. I'd be gone.
Yeah, but the thing is, there is a path to Conrad getting on that boat and succeeding and not getting shot.
Yeah, but like, it's not where you fucking take the guy hostage first, then shove him off and run to the boat. Like, that's... Like, yeah, if I didn't take the guy hostage at first and I slid into the boat, I probably would have been fine.
Yeah. It's just funny how, like, there's, like, little things like that, like, literally changes the course of the whole game for certain characters. Now, speaking on that, once you end up at the ship and you start to unravel the story and whatever else happens in that sense, did you have anyone else die besides Conrad?
And it was from the stupidest decision of my entire life. So, on the ship, obviously, the one thing about this game that I wasn't a huge fan of, not necessarily not a huge fan of, but like, I think the whole chemical spill hallucination thing is so fucking tacky at this point. It's so overdone. It's so like, oh my god, like, we get it, guys. Like, it's... And for me, that's where I was kind of just like... I knew about 5 minutes in that it was a chemical situation. And I was like, oh, like, this is really all it is? Like, I would much rather have been, like, something more sinister. And that's what kind of breaks from Until Dawn to these two games. And obviously we'll get into Little Hope later. But, like, you find out it isn't anything sinister.
Well, I was going to say, the thing they made about the whole thing is, like, it's not everything's what it seems, essentially.
Well, that's what the curator always says.
Yeah.
And meeting the curator for the first time, loved it. He's fantastic. He's like so like all-knowing, spooky, like whatever.
Yeah.
But so yes, I had one guy die. Alex died for me.
Main dude?
Yeah.
How'd he die?
So you remember how you find those mutated skeletons in the coffins?
Yeah.
And I thought that was
the two little like kids.
No, it's a mutated skeleton.
It wasn't like a little kid skeleton.
No, it's just like a second head growing off because of the chemicals, right?
Yeah.
And they died a hero. That's why they were in those big coffins. They died like a hero's death or whatever.
Yeah.
So what happened for me was obviously I was hallucinating, and it was right at the end. It was literally like he had the blast cap. He was ready to go, and and he's getting attacked by the mutated thing in the flesh. Right? Did you get attacked by that as Alex? And like. Then all of a sudden, Alex starts screaming, and this rat starts coming out of his chest.
Yeah. Oh, you stabbed yourself?
I don't know why I thought that was the right call.
But you knew it was all like in your head the whole time.
But I know I did. Trust me, I know I did. And I was just like, I thought it was like, when I was first, again, this is why I'm not going to survive in horror movies. When I was first going through this, I was like, okay, when I was at that decision, I was like, okay, this thing's clearly fake. And, like, the rat in your chest is clearly fake, but maybe if I, like, stab myself, it's, like, me freeing myself from the illusion. And then as soon as he did it, I was like, I'm a fucking idiot. This guy's dead. This guy's dead. This guy's dead.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he just, like, lops over, holding the blasting cap, and then, like, all of a sudden, Julia runs up, finds him.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, baby, no. Takes the blasting cap, they leave, and they escape on the ship, and it's over.
They get on the little, like, boat?
Yeah. They put the blasting cap on.
Explode the boat?
I thought it was so nuts that what's his name? I forget. The main pirate, the main robber.
He joins you, right?
No.
Doesn't he kill himself?
He dies of a heart attack.
Oh, because he's scared, right?
But that's how most of them die, right? They're like, why does everybody look so scared? And it's because they all died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
There was, to be fair, they did put some fucking freaky moments on that boat, though. I will give them credit for that. Like, and I've talked to you about this, the one thing that actually made me almost, like, just have a heart attack was you can investigate through a crack in the window. And if you just look through the window, you see inside, and that's totally normal. You can leave without doing that. But if you move to, like, look this way in the window, a face pops up. And then, like, I was actually, like... and I actually, like, freaking fell over. I was
probably so loud in here, too, right? When you did,
oh, my God. I was... And I've only... So, just to amplify my experience, I've only been playing these in the dark.
Yeah.
I have not been playing them when it's light outside. So, yeah, I was horrified. So, that's kind of been my experience, I think, with it. So, I had 3 people live. Right? I was doing pretty damn good. Conrad died really early. Alex died right at the end for a stupid reason. Like, stupid reason.
Yeah.
But...
You could have had 4 people live. You made the one guy kill himself.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That stupid choice on Alex.
No. Like, one of the pirates can, like, leave with you.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's not, like, the one that's, like, kind of, like, on his team, but, like, freaking out himself. Not the guy that's the leader.
So can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I picked the choices to make him kill himself.
Yeah, I know. You can. I did too.
Because I was just like, obviously we want this guy gone. Like,
yeah.
No, I was like trying to like psych that guy out so he would like go.
No, if you make him like not psych him out, he actually like appreciates it and becomes like your ally. And then he leaves with you.
He seemed like he was kind of an okay guy actually through the entire
because he was like he didn't want to be there.
So, did you get a weird end scene in yours? Like a creepy end scene?
Yep.
So, before we get to the end scene, I want to hear your experience, because yours is obviously a lot different than mine was.
Yeah.
But, what I do want to talk to you about is the one thing in this game that bothered me beyond all belief. And it really, I don't know why it upset me so much. All of the prisoners, right, like all of like the main 5 that you play as, when they go on that ship, not a single one of them is wearing shoes. And that bothered, I mean, obviously, like, first of all, the pirates made them take off their shoes or something, like, okay, weird, but like, okay.
Did they actually?
They must have. Why were they all shoeless?
Because they're on a boat, and they were wearing. They were in the water and stuff.
Okay, but but is it not safe to say their shoes are on the boat?
Yeah, but I'm sure the pirates were like, put your shoes on.
I think that they would. Why would they not?
I don't know. Because they're pirates.
Don't you think walking around on a fucking 80-year-old vessel that's made of metal, it's gonna scrape up the soles of your feet, and they're running and jumping and stuff, and like nobody comments. Nobody says, boy, my feet are pretty shredded right now, bros. Like, it just.
Or like they get like a tetanus shot. Yeah, they're like I shouldn't be in here right now.
The whole time I'm in there, I'm like, boy, all these guys are dead of tetanus, regardless of what happens. But like that's kind of like, I don't know, man. Like that's
a good point.
It really
I don't think I think it's Somalian pirates. I think are like I'm pretty sure they're not being like, hey, like, put your shoes on. Like, no one cares about. They're not caring about your feet at that point.
Yeah,
they're
like,
prisoners to them.
They're in like French Polynesia.
Yeah.
So like, but yeah, so it's just like, yeah. So anyways, no, I know, but you would think if they're gonna bring them on the boat, it's gonna slow them down. I don't know. It made no sense to me.
Not getting on. What was the point of them getting on the boat again? Like, what was the reason why they wanted to go to that boat?
They have the treasures in there. So they found the map. In the sunken ship for something called Manchurian gold.
Oh, in the
sunken airplane.
Yeah.
And they thought Manchurian gold was like a gold whatever, not a chemical.
Yeah, it'd been crazy if you had someone die in the underwater like plane, because that can happen when you get stuck in there for a minute. Like there's a part where there's a quick time action, you get stuck.
Where she gets stuck in the tube, where she takes off her equipment.
Yeah, you would die in there.
Well, you can also die. You can also have her have a heart attack, right, from when she's going up, and there's the explosion. Yeah, and then she's just like, I actually saw a picture that showed her having a heart attack. That's when I knew that when we got there, she was just, we have to go up and make sure they're okay. And then when I was playing as Alex, I was like, no, we have to decompress. We can't get the bends because like your heart will stop.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, we have to go up. But then we go up and you find out it's the barbecue, which was, again, that for me was so well played. Because you're right, part of me was like, fuck it, we should go up and make sure they're okay because that sketchy boat just left. Like, was there an explosion? Did something happen? Did like blah, 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 blah? Then it was just the barbecue.
Yeah.
So, tell me walk me through your experience.
So I played this game twice, like when it first came out, and then I played it again when I was on Game Pass for a minute, like probably 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And I had one death, and it was Conrad. But
he died on the boat.
He died on the boat. Like,
Can I ask you,
not like what happened with you.
Just an interrupt, just to understand the difference. What played out when the fisherman came and tied everybody up?
Oh, I just complied the whole time.
Oh, you didn't break out the window or anything like that?
I just complied with them, and eventually they're like, because like I knew if you go out the window, like there's still like a high chance like nothing happens, or like you get one person to leave on a boat, which wouldn't do much, like their boat.
Yeah.
So it was like I just complied the whole time. And then we went to that place. The whole time I tried to kind of choose the easy, the more like relaxed option, because if I didn't, I knew like probably if someone's getting shot or something. But what happens is when everyone starts freaking out, I didn't really remember. I kind of picked up it was like not real too. Yeah. But when I was doing Conrad at one point sees this like hot like sailor like from like like the posters from like the 50s.
Yeah, like the freaking like I always say
the propaganda.
My example of that one is, do you know the album by Blink-182 called Enema of the State?
Yeah, like that.
Where it's the old school nurse.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So
that's literally kind of what it was.
Yeah. Okay.
So so he sees the sailor,
and of
like
course
that.
he's like Scooby-Doo eyes.
Yeah, he's all like for it, and he's talking her up, and all of a sudden she turns into like a mutant zombie and like chasing you through this like whole area. And while you're running through, there's time sequences where you have to jump from like little pillars because there's like holes in the ground.
And you missed one.
And I slipped on one of them, and I hit my head, and then went down and like smashed the back of my skull open, and I bled out. And then when you bleed out, and it shows the person who was chasing you, and it was Fliss.
Oh,
because Fliss was the person that he was like imagining.
That's nuts.
Now, if you don't die and you go the whole route at the end, you have two options as Conrad: either jump or confront it, because like you basically get chased.
If you confront it, can you kill Fliss though?
No, if you confront it, like you basically just like snap out and she just hugs you and she's like, "Oh my god, you scared?"
And that's what happened with Brad. Is Brad at some points like, we're hallucinating. This isn't real, and he just stops hallucinating.
Yeah, which is weird. How you can just like mentally be like, "I'm not. This is not."
I mean, or it's just If you're smart, if he gets to the point where he's like, it's the chemicals doing this, and all of a sudden some ghoul comes up to you, you're gonna be like, cool, bro. Like,
yeah, there's nothing there.
Totally off topic. The brain is a wild thing, and but you can, even when you're in a state like that, as soon as you realize this is chemicals that are causing us to be like this, you can shut that completely down.
Yeah.
It's not like he's high. It's not like he's under the influence. It's just the chemicals are triggering his brain.
Yeah, so your brain can like be like, oh, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens is if you do the whole way up, you basically climb up like a little like tower, kind of like this mic, all the way to the top. There's a little like ledge.
Yeah.
And you can like choose if you want to jump off as Conrad or confront it, because it's like crawling up the thing with you.
Does jump off kill you?
Yeah, you just jump to your death.
Because
you just fall right onto like the ship and just shatter your skull.
Okay.
Basically same thing that happens if I missed my time sequence and fell and cracked the back of my head. Same type of thing happens, just he cracks the back of his head off like a different part of the boat. And then it like peers up and shows it's just Fliss, and she's like devastated because just watching him like jump to his death. Or if you hug her, then like they make out and do their whole like flirty thing.
They make out.
I
don't know who's kissing on boats like this. I'll tell you what. If there was if I was on a boat with some like really attractive girl and her and I are in this mess together, you know what I mean? Like we're hallucinating on a boat surrounded by like freaking like pirates trying to kill us. I'll tell you what, not gonna go for the kiss. That's insane.
No, but like that's like any movie ever though. Like they're always like the one moment where like the two
maybe the danger just fires.
Yeah,
them
the
up.
two main people like this is a moment for us.
Yeah, like after all the shooting's done.
So
and after like.
Yeah, so the end of my game happens is I screwed up. When you're wrestling with Alex and like the guy that has a heart attack. Yeah. He like smacks the keys to the this boat, like the boat keys.
I don't think I ever saw the boat keys.
Yeah, so what happens with boat keys is that he smacked it. Who had
them?
The guy. That's why you're trying to chase him down. Like he had it.
He wasn't. So again, different game for me. I wasn't looking for the keys. I was looking for the blaster cap.
No, we were looking for the keys.
I was looking for the blaster cap.
Yeah.
The whole time it was just that blaster cap because he went at the engine and took it out.
Oh, that's what we needed then. Whatever happened.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly.
So he knocked the blaster cap.
He knocked it down like a well and like into the bottom of the ship.
Is it because what did you fuck up to make that happen?
It was just like a fight sequence, but I think he got scared when he died. He like it rolled and he went to go grab it, and I fucked up the time sequence, and I basically smacked it into this hole, leaving it. So then what we did is we radioed until we found like a radio channel that was the army.
Okay, I did that. Oh, so you lost the blaster cap before that? Before the radio?
It was some point. I can't remember exactly the
I guess
time
you didn't
sequence.
Play this recently, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, on the radio, we got in contact with the army, and we told them our coordinates. Like, we just wrote down our coordinates and, like, said it to them. Yeah. And then, so what happens at the end of the game for me, since I lost the blaster cap, and couldn't, like, get the boat to leave, we just wait till the army shows up in a helicopter. They come down, and they're like, all five of you are, like, frantically, like, saying, like, this is what happened, like, we need, like, to get out of here. Yeah. We're like, this is what happened to us, like, what can you do for us? And like they're just like mow them down, and they just light you up with ARs.
Why?
Because they don't want you like coming out and like saying this like experiment went wrong, and like basically explaining like that like there's like this ship on that the army just has like knows they know of it. That's why they killed them. And like they had like where everyone just gets chemical like intoxicated. So they just said like they basically were like the army basically saw it as like they're just like messed up mentally.
So I wonder. So here's an interesting one.
They'll never know.
But if Conrad gets on the boat and successfully leaves, what happens there?
I didn't want to know that too because I didn't watch that sequence.
Right?
I'm pretty sure he comes back to save you guys at some point.
Okay, interesting. Okay, because like I was gonna say so in mine, yeah, we get away, but I have a scene where the military comes.
Okay, what happens in your scene?
Well, so wait, but it was after the credits. Did you have an after the credits scene?
No, because they just mowed him down.
Why do I keep having after credits?
Because you have a secret thing. Because you finish like certain things that are part of the good ending, probably.
So
mine wasn't a good ending because they mowed down like they mowed him down.
So one of the pirates, there was like I think was there 3 of them? Yeah.
One you can't save, right? One dies immediately.
Maybe there's 4 then. Because there's the one that's tied to the chair that the main pirate was like torturing.
Oh yeah.
So, and then there was the one that kills himself if you talk him into it, and then there was the main guy, and then maybe there was a 4th one. I don't really know. But so, anyways, what happens is after my credits roll, it cuts to the military landing on the ship.
Okay.
But here's the weird difference: the military, for me, doesn't clearly know what the ship is.
Oh, really?
Because they're walking into the ship, and they walk into the room that has those 4 coffins in it, and they go, "What the fuck is this?" And they walk up, and they open the coffin, see the stuff, and they're like, "We gotta get out of here. What's going on?" And then they hear a rustling off to the side, and they're like, "Who's there? Come out with your hands up!" And it's the 3rd pirate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The one that I thought got tortured to death.
Okay.
And he goes at them, and he looks nuts. And he has, like, a knife, and he just charges at them.
And they just light them up?
Then it ends. You don't even see if they you don't even see what happens.
Wow.
So that's the end of mine. So, so before we started this podcast, you told me there was something that you wanted to tell me that was going to bother me or, like, ruin the game or something like that. Something that you really didn't like. And I've been really, I thought you were going to say it by now. I've just been really curious.
Like, right before we started the podcast?
Yeah.
No, it was about House of Ashes.
Oh, I thought it was about this one.
No, I just was going to say something about House of Ashes, but you haven't started it yet, so I didn't want to say.
Yeah, please don't spoil that for me. I'm begging you not to.
But
like, so, I mean, it's interesting that our games are so different, to be honest with you. I love it, though. That's why I like this game. And, like, for me, I liked some of the changes they did. So, for example, I liked the relationship trackers. So when you open up whatever character you're playing, you can see how their relationships are compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I like it too. Also like how it shows like kind of like Until Dawn shows like what type of characteristics you have, and you can unlock new characteristics about your character depending on how you answer questions or like certain like things you choose to do. For sure. Yeah, and like at least going in it for me, I didn't really understand any of it. Right? So I got a trophy for maxing out Julia and Brad's relationship, which was, I guess, kind of cool. Sorry, Julia and Alex, not Brad. What happens when you do that?
Nothing. You just get a trophy because like they're just supportive of each other.
Didn't they like propose too?
Yeah, you can choose if you want to or not.
Yeah. And
I did, and obviously she said yes, and like I was like, oh sweet. One of the things I found about this game is I found certain dialogue options didn't really encompass what I thought I would feel. Did you ever get that? You're given the 2 options for one of the characters, and you're just like, okay, so I either sound like a dick or I sound like an asshole. Yeah, no, I was just kind of like, why can't I have one that like I get maybe they want you to argue, but like when I saw some of those, I was just like, this isn't really. I mean, you can't say nothing. There's a 3rd option. Right. You know what? So, and I'll talk about this also in Little Hope. But for me, one of the hardest things for me to do in a video game I've learned now, and it was from playing these games, is I can't just do nothing. I always need to do something. Answer some certain way, shoot the shot, do this, go, and in Until Dawn, where they do the tutorial about doing nothing, right? I don't know if you remember, but there's like the squirrel, I think, and you can shotgun it right at the beginning. Yeah. And it's just like, sometimes the best decision is not to do anything. Again, but when you're on that time crunch, when you're on that time crunch, when you're super into all that kind of stuff, like, it's like, I didn't blow the squirrel away. But that also like, real life? Well, it makes it like,
like the
Real life
indicator makes you like panic because like you see the thing start to go like tick away and you're like, I gotta choose an option. It's like, well, you could just do nothing, just let it run out.
I find for me the combat ones were always the hardest. Like just in terms of like I can't just not kick somebody or not like shoot a gun or not which I there's a very specific Little Hope example we'll talk about later on, but like there was just so many different times where like I wonder what saying or doing nothing. You know what? Actually, no, that's not true. I did remember when Brad's telling the ghost story on the ship after the proposal, and I thought the ghost story was terrible. I thought it was so stupid. It wasn't even like good.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
And you can either make Julia say like a really shitty comment to him, or just like for some reason antagonize Fliss. Like it made no sense. And I just kept saying, "Say nothing, say nothing, say nothing," and she stayed quiet that entire ghost story because I just felt like I was just like I don't want this character to say this kind of stuff. So. But when you're in the shit, right? Like when you're sitting around having beers in a ghost story, you think more about your responses. But like when you're Jess and you're running in the mine shaft trying to escape the Wendigo, what do I think to myself, right? I'm just like, oh god, this is whatever. But like I don't know, like the game itself was great and it was a great introduction, but out of the 3 we've played so far, I can just say right off the bat, this is my least by far.
Yeah, it's also, I just find these games are super, like, you know what I was wondering, too? Mm-hmm. What would happen if you just, like, try to kill everyone at the beginning? See how fast the game would end. Like, the game probably would end, right? If you, like, killed them all, like, they're, like...
But here's the thing, though. So, Conrad can die before you get to the ghost ship.
Yep.
Julia can die before you get to the ghost ship. I think that's, like, I don't think anybody else can die.
But I'm saying, like, once you get to the boat, like, how fast could you... Like, what if there's a speed run to try and kill everyone as fast as possible, just to see how will the game end?
Yeah, it would end.
I would curious to see how the curator would answer, like, as well. Like, oh, good job, you idiot.
So, we haven't really talked about the curator, and I want to.
Yeah, I do, too.
So, one thing I've learned... So, remember I was talking about the music, and they have that song, Oh Death, that they sang?
Yeah, and they do it for this one.
But it's all different... versions of it by different people.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Anyways, and that opening where he's like walking through the freaking house or the library or the museum, I guess, because he's a curator, but like he's walking through all this kind of stuff and he's like, but every time he comes back, I am literally drawn to his words. Like this guy fascinates me, and just what he says and just how cryptic everything he says is, and like he'll just give you hints, or he'll be like, do you want a hint? Do you want blah, 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 blah? Like, how are you? Like, and just, I love it. It's just, that character is amazing. And at the end of this game, oh, it freaked me out, where he just goes, we'll see each other again. Soon, I hope. Maybe in Little Hope. I don't know if you notice he says that.
Yeah.
He goes, maybe in Little Hope. And then he says, but we will see each other again. And I was just like, oh my god, like this guy's a creep. But
the voice actor does it so well.
Oh yeah, he's so good. But like the one really kind of not sad thing for me, but like when I left Until Dawn, I'll be honest, I was a little spooked. The game kind of resonated with me in terms of spookness, right?
Well, the thing with Until Dawn was different from these ones is these ones kind of break down the whole like everything's not as it seems, as you already know, but Until Dawn there's like, oh, it's a horror thing. No, it's not. There's a real thing going on. There's Wendigos running around killing people. Part of it
wasn't as it seemed.
Yeah.
The serial killer or the maniac. Like, that wasn't as it seemed.
But then all of a sudden it went really supernatural, which I'm not a big fan of when it, like, breaks the world. And he's like, oh, there actually is Wendigos. Like, there's not really.
You know what,
there
though?
probably isn't really Wendigos.
I'm super dialed. I'll just admit it on the pod. I'm dialed into the ghost stuff. Like, I kind of believe in that kind of stuff. Like, honestly, like, I want to believe in that kind of stuff, I think is the right word. Like, I want to believe, like, go to a haunted frickin' thing and there's weird shit going on there. I want to believe that because I think it's cool.
It terrifies me.
It does terrify me too, but I think it's cool. But, like, you know, I don't know. Like, it's just, this one for me, I just kind of didn't leave it being like, oh, I'm spooked. I left it being like, okay, it was the chemicals.
But before you find out, it's kind of creepy, like some of the stuff that happens.
I knew it was the chemicals, like, really early on. Like
how early?
I suspected it in the intro.
Really?
Yeah.
But they don't really touch on it, do they? The
No.
chemical stuff?
No. But know why I thought that? It was just everybody just kept shooting each other. And like everybody just kept like all you hear is gunshots, the ship's under attack, but like I knew it wasn't under attack. And then I thought to myself, okay, like all these people are dead and like there's gunshots going off. It's like these people are just like killing themselves or other people for no good reason.
Yeah.
And I thought it could have been a ghost, but then I also thought it was like maybe not, because like the whole I hate the whole World War II like chemical warfare, like ooh spooky. Like I honestly, again, I'm not trying to give myself credit because like I'm not very smart when it comes to this kind of shit normally, but like this game, truthfully, from the beginning I had a feeling it had something to
like
do
predictable.
with yeah, for sure. And like because it's just that whole World War II chemical warfare, like ooh, these people are hallucinating on the open sea. Like, that's just so overplayed to me. And then it was actually confirmed for me when they were doing the dive in the ship. They're like, the ship was shot down. And I was like, they shot the ship down because they were having a chemical fucking meltdown and they thought the ship was an intruder. Yeah. So they shot it down.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why, for me... The other thing that didn't make sense is why the hell is the boat just still somehow floating? If they wanted to hide it, why would they keep it in the open ocean? The military.
But it's not really. It's like in fog. Like you kind of just find it.
But why not sink it?
I don't know. Did you like look into a lot of clues and see why like that was the case?
Do they?
I don't know. Did you? Like I was asking you, like did the whole like hunt because you like exploring.
I loved exploring. Not like.
Let's take a look. I'll try and see. There's like a story behind the story. I
mean, like I don't even think it's worth looking up right now, to be honest with you. But like to me, it was more just really along the lines of I was kind of just like. This just feels tacky to me. But no, you wouldn't find out about, maybe it would pollute the water or something like that. So they couldn't do it, but I don't know. Again, this is just me thinking. Like, I don't know. Well, while Colin is looking that up, I'm going to just kind of plug in. You'll see in front of us here that we have my brand new TELUS Gamer affiliate water bottle. We have our TELUS Snow Leopard Critter that's now joining us on the podcast. If you are checking this out on YouTube or Twitch, you can see our affiliate program up there in the esports top left corner. If you're not, we've said this several times before, but we are now in the gamer affiliate program within TELUS. If you live in Canada, especially in Western Canada, and you want a discount on your internet services or a bill credit, you can definitely check out our Instagram at Gameaholic Podcast, and we can give you some distributor codes to get you in and get you some offers off. Okay, perfect timing. My plug's done. What'd you find?
So the actual ship is a real life ghost ship that was, though the game's obviously completely fictional. The SS Orang Medan was an actual ship with its own urban legend. The story goes that the Orang Medan, which translates to Man of Medan, crew died under suspicious circumstances that were dubbed as a ghost ship in the late 40s. Though there's many different theories about what happened to the crew, including the ship packed with Japanese chemical weapons that were also stored in China. They were accidentally let loose. Clearly, developer of Supermassive Games was a fan of this theory and used it to create their own previous story.
Okay, interesting. Well, there you go. That was actually a good look up.
Just like how like Little Hope goes into the witch trials from New England, or like the 16 in Salem, which was in 1692 or whatever. So they do the same thing, and then they also play into that theory in House of Ashes, which is, I think that story is based around like the 1700s with the plague.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
but it's like Egypt time.
No, I think that one is like old, like beast, like before common era
but
stuff.
It's like the plague.
It's a plague
and
back then.
And they play into that.
When you say the plague, I always think England's plague.
No.
Yeah.
It's that plague, and then they talk about like it's cool how they create different like stories and they just mash them together sometimes because there is like I don't want to talk about it yet. We'll let you get to it.
No worries. Cool.
But yeah, that's Man of Medan.
That's I didn't even know that was the name of the ship, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I didn't know the name of the ship either. I think they didn't.
I didn't even know what Medan was, to be honest.
Well, Medan was the gold, wasn't it?
No, that was Manchurian gold.
Yeah, so Manchurian gold was the thing. So the Medan or Medan was the name of the ship.
Ocho. So I'm thinking,
Orang Medan.
Do you want to jump in and do some reviews?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's jump right in. So Man of Medan. So I'm going to start off with the characters. I liked them. I didn't really think... So when I think back to the characters in Until Dawn, and I was kind of on the fence, then I realized there was some I hated at the beginning that I liked at the end. This wasn't really the case here. I don't find there was any character development here at all. Like, I thought there would be, like, some going through trauma and realizing blah, 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 but it wasn't there. For me, personally.
Yeah.
The characters were kind of interesting, but I didn't think that they were standalone, like, these people are amazing. So I'm actually going to go 3 on the characters. Actually, I'm going to go 2. I really wasn't... It wasn't for me. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, they're all likable. I didn't really like Brad. And Fliss kind of bothered me. But I still think they're, like, still very well done.
But don't you agree with me that there was really no growth?
No, there was definitely no growth, really, at all in any of the characters. I mean, Conrad goes into, like, that... If you had him live.
I don't know anything about it.
If he gets through the whole game, he becomes, like, the Mike from, like, Until Dawn, where he becomes, like, a badass on the ship for some reason.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
But... And he also is one of the people that realizes it's...
Gas?
Yeah.
Oh,
but
cool.
he dies.
I didn't know that.
And me. So he didn't get to that point.
Interesting. Okay.
But
because me was Brad, obviously, right?
Yeah. And
also,
Brad's very smart, so he should.
Kind of off topic. It was so stupid to me that somehow Brad was hiding under the bed the whole time that the guys were there, especially since they attacked like Conrad first, and then Brad like was in the bunk bed with Conrad, so somehow they didn't see him, then he just hid under the bed.
Yeah, he's like
and anyways, so what do you got for characters?
I'd say like a 3.5. I still think they're pretty well done.
Oh, okay.
And like the big thing was, yeah, they didn't have a lot of growth, but I still think the way they portray and create these characters, I think there's still like a lot of like value there. Mm-hmm. And I will say another thing too is you said say nothing a lot to these, but you could make them your own characters. So you could have made Julie a huge dick in that situation. You could have made Fliss like the biggest piece of like shit sassy person ever.
But I just feel like in this game, even if these people hated each other, they would still like if you're the whole time you're on the ship normally, if you're just being an asshole to everybody from everybody, he says no to her about or she doesn't say yes to getting married, blah 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 blah. I can't. I think about them on the ship, and like there wasn't really a lot of them even really together on the ship.
Yeah, they're battling their own demons.
Exactly.
Actually. Yeah. I also think that's like bothers me how like they always end up being split up from each other.
I like it.
I do too, but I also think like in a real life situation, like who's saying like let's split up?
Well, we'll talk about that in Little Hope because I got some stuff to say
yeah.
there. So what do you got for background, my friend?
Background's pretty plain. We kind of talked about it like on the pod a little bit there, and how like it's very just like you see the dark ship. It's green on the inside. Like there's not like a lot of like colors or like at least nice like things going on. There was still parts of the game where you'd hear stuff or like watch stuff run around in the background, which I still like because it kind of brings that vibe.
Yeah.
And it's still like dead silent for the most part, except for creaking of like the ship noises and stuff, which was really cool in the water. Like you'd hear like it moving in the water, which still got an element of like backgroundness to me. I'd probably say like a 3.5.
So I was actually
I enjoyed it.
You literally hit the nail on the head for me. Are you saying 3 or 3.5 by the way?
I'd say 3.5.
Okay. You literally hit the nail on the head in terms of how I'm feeling about this. I went into this and I was kind of just like, man, like it's so I don't know what it is. Resident Evil, like there's so like even Last of Us, any game where I get on one of those industrial ships, I lose interest in that section of the game. It just I don't know what it is, man. I really can't tell you, but it just feels so overdone, I think. Mm-hmm. But like I said, saying that, there was parts where I almost shit myself several times during this game, just in terms of going in and like I remember actually in the room with the 4 coffins when Alex is in there and he moves the curtain and a head falls in front of him and he like freaks out and then it actually was just a jar. Like that, I was like, and like I would classify that as background, right? Like they're able, or I mean, out of all 3 games, the scaredest I've ever been was that part where I was looking through the crack. And again, this is why I like that game in this way. And this is why the background I think actually deserves way higher than what I would give it if it didn't have this. But like, if you just look through the crack, you don't have to look to the other side of the room. You can go away and you'd be fine. But I actually went, okay, what's over here? Ah! So I'm actually going 3.5 as well. I think for me, I also just need to say, if the background didn't have all the spooky stuff, I would actually probably have given it a 1.5. It really just, for me, the background was not. So that's how good the spooky stuff on that side of it was.
Yeah.
Music, we talked about this before. No music Until Death was, Until Death was pretty freaking, or no, Oh Death, sorry.
Gone. Oh, Death,
No,
like the song.
Yeah.
Song,
Was good. The silence, the music, just the ambiance, like you said, you nailed it, man. The creaking of the ship, even like the rustling of things, like something running by, the rats, for example, like they did really good with the sounds on this one. So I'm gonna go with a 5 again. I can't give it less, honestly. The silences in this game speak volumes. What do you got?
You always are on edge thinking there's the next jump scares and about to be.
Because it's not like the no 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 no.
As soon as it happens, it does do a little like noise though. It'll be like and like as this thing happens.
Does it?
To like obviously bring it up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Or like. Yeah, like it's just like things like that you notice a little bit. Like you'll like it's not like a big noise because you're more focused on like the scary visual.
Yeah.
But you do hear like the little like to like just for that split second just to like kind of raise your like heart rate. I would say 5 as well. I think across the board these games are gonna be a 5 in the music just because of this how well they do like the silence part of it.
Well, I actually, again, little hope there'll be some different stuff.
Who knew the music would be. No music would be a 5 for us.
Well, man, it's just, you know, if there's no music and it doesn't add to anything, and you're like, it's not... No music in horror games is what makes horror games successful.
Yeah, I agree.
So I will give them that. Okay, what do you got for... We should change... Just thinking out loud here. What if we change music to music/sound effects?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Like, instead of just, like, a soundtrack, like, why don't we talk about, like, what's the sounds like?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm kind of into doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Replayability, you're up, my friend.
Like a 1. Did it? I played it twice, but like I don't think I ever played it.
I don't think you can give it a 1 if you played it twice.
Well, no, I think I can.
You think so?
Like, it was one was like a long time ago. The second one was like, oh, it's free. I'll try it again.
So for me on this one, yeah, you know what? Actually, I have a bit of a higher replayability score just because I want to see that whole like hot nurse trying to kill him. Like, I want to get. The only reason that mine's not a 1 is I want to get Conrad on the ship. You know? Like, I want to get Conrad on the ship.
Yeah, I think I played it
So I'm actually going to give it about a 3 for me because I think Conrad in this one, like Sean Ashmore, arguably the biggest star in Man of Medan. Like, as an actor, he's the most well-known. He's the one... And I killed him in the first hour of the game.
First 30 minutes, probably.
So that's what I'm saying is I feel like I missed a substantial part of it that was built probably around him because he was the big actor in the game.
Yeah.
And I missed it just because of the fact that he died so fast. So I actually probably going to give it a 3. Just because, like, there's that part of me that's curious. Like, I want to get in here and just see... Because, again, the attractive nurse seems really interesting. Like, that it's actually Fliss is, like, a crazy twist and, like, really, really cool. Story.
I think it's still very like well done story. I think that's one thing these games really hit the nail on the head. Like they really do build a story, and like the curator is a really good storyteller when he brings it back and he like uses his words to twist it a certain way to like give you the idea of what to do next and whatever else. But the whole point of the game is you're building a story yourself. So it's whatever you want it to be in a sense. And with that being said, I think this, even though you're not a big World War II buff, I still think the story is justifiably like in the 4 to 5 range. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Wow. I couldn't disagree with you more. I thought the story was just something that you see in 100 different movies. The whole the chemical glass made them all go crazy and kill each other and hallucinate and see things, and these people are trying to hunt for treasure and they go there and they experience the same thing only to realize it's gas, and then they're all like, oh, okay, it's cool. I do like that I won't give it a 1 though, because I do like that they took it to a new level in terms of like what's going on. Like I really liked in any of those other games, you won't see a guy stab himself in the chest because he thinks there's a rat clawing at his insides. Yeah. And I made him do that, right? Like that part's really, really cool. And just like, again, bringing it back, I haven't even seen it, but kind of just like the hot nurse is a really interesting take. Like, And like this guy, it fits that character. The hour I had with that character, it fits him so well.
Yeah.
Because he's just kind of like a horn dog. He loves drinking. He's like hitting on the girls,
dude.
like partying dude.
Yeah.
Like so, for me, that I don't know. Like I said, that's really really interesting. But like, I can't give it much higher. I'm gonna give it a 2.5, just because they did take that and they did do pretty well with it. Just literally in terms of like. Just in terms of what they were doing, like they did really well with taking this basic generic story and elevating it slightly.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, still the issue.
Yep.
So I gave it a score of 6.4, and you gave it a score of 7. I wonder if my review would be different if we hadn't reviewed Until Dawn and Little Hope yet. Like, I wonder if this was the one game I played, would I have given it higher? I think I would have. But, like, I'm now comparing it to the other two that we've played, and the other two are so much better story-wise and interest-wise for me that I feel like we've kind of lost it there. And you gave it a 7.0.
Which is fair, because I think it's a very good game.
You know what? I can't disagree with you. I think it is a good game.
I think all these games are, in comparison, very good. It's just what you like more.
And that's exactly where I'm coming at with this, and that's why I'm kind of doing that big. I'm kind of putting this big plug in here where it's kind of like it's your preference. The reason I rated parts of this so low is I just hate that generic World War II stuff. Like it just, to me, it's just I hate going on these abandoned ships. They're just so boring. They're just so whatever to me, right? Like for me, that's the stuff that really bothers me.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, if this game is $40, if this game's no longer free, is it a pickup for you? $40.
Like if I never played it before,
yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, someone, you should play this." Yeah, $40 is very doable.
Yeah, you know what? I would agree. Like I said, I'm rating it a little lower than normal, just due to the fact that that's just really like, for some reason, that's one of my pet peeves in video games is this exact storyline that they took. But the horror was there. The horror was there, and the choices were there.
I really like these games too because they do remind me of just like going to a movie.
Agreed. But it's like it's like very little interactive, and you never know how it's going to end, and it's your choice. Where in a movie, you're just going whatever way the director wants to go.
Yeah.
So anybody that's on PlayStation and has PlayStation Plus, this game is free until end of the month. Download it if you're a horror buff. If you don't like horror, you'll be scared shitless, I think is pretty fair to say.
I think so too.
The jump scares are there in this one. The kind of creeping scariness isn't there for me. Like, I'm not like, oh, this is kind of just a creepy thing like Until Dawn. But the jump scares are there.
Yeah.
And it's a really good way. I think this game is a great way to enter into the Supermassive universe.
I think so too, before you jump into the other games.
And it's free. It's the perfect time to do it. So check it out. We are going to take a quick break, but this is going to be back-to-back pods for us tonight. So we're actually going to take a quick break. We're going to stop streaming for maybe 10 minutes, just refill our waters, kind of just stretch the legs and everything like that. But we will be back 10, 15 minutes, and we're going to talk all about Little Hope, which is the second installment in the Dark Pictures Anthology. So we will catch you guys in 10-ish minutes.
Peace.
Peace.